Right, welcome everybody to another episode of Chris and Dave's Reality Cast. I'm one of your hosts, Chris Phelps, and my co-host and very good friend is Mr. Dave Horrocks.
Hey there, Chris, and hello to our listeners out there. Welcome to Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. We are covering Married at First Sight Australia, Season 9, episodes 29 through to 32. Now, Chris, I know we cover other series and everything, but by God, I just love it. I'm filled with so much excitement and enthusiasm because we watch these, this batch of 4 episodes, and after every one, I'm like, oh, God damn it, I want to jump on and talk to you about it. But finally, we get to talk about this week's MAFS. So where would you like to start today?
Well, Dave, we have to talk about the commitment ceremony because it was left on a cliffhanger last week. And me and you were like, they better hold Olivia to task. They better fucking hold her to task. And I know we've talked about this off the podcast. I think they do in a different way than what we expected in some respects. So what did you think of each judge, the way they went at our expert as they went at her?
I have to say, I've really warmed to John this season. I think he's done better than most in terms of chastising. And I'll come to Alessandra in a minute as well. I think she had some choice words that were interesting. I thought they got a reaction. They did sort of hold the group, I think, to account. But I think they were quite soft, actually, with holding Olivia. And also, they didn't really call out Selena, Tamara, and Sam in their role in it. So in calling out the group, it's like everyone. And it's like, well, wasn't everyone, was it? It wasn't Brent, wasn't Mitch and Ella. It was some very specific people who just saw no problem. Basically, they were victim blaming or slut shaming, or bit of one, bit of the other, Dom, because she'd put these pictures out on the internet. And I have to say, Chris, there's something weird. There's something off about this because OnlyFans, it's not just on the internet. You've got to subscribe to this shit to get to the pictures. So Olivia in particular, she's saying, it's public information. I just Googled it. Not that I believe a word she's saying, but no one is calling that out, which is weird. So I don't get it. There's something that just doesn't add up there. But I mean, John was basically saying, what possessed you to send that picture out? And it was just basically, there was no good answer to it at all. And so I thought he was, giving that stern teacher talk. This wasn't about helping couples or anything. He was basically telling off the whole class. But then when Alessandra is having a go and saying that, talking about a bit of human empathy would help, fuck me, Chris, that was the first bombshell of this batch of episodes where she's like, in terms of empathy, I just don't have any. It's like, whoa, we thought you were a sociopath. Thanks for confirming.
True, though. You're right, because John goes at her, like you say, what in the world possessed you to do that? And I'm like, I'm typing, I'm fucking there. And you see that meme of the fucking Muppets where Kermit's typing on the typewriter dead fast. And I'm fucking there on my phone with the notes, and Sam's going, oh, you can see you typing now. So I'm getting my notes ready for this.
Furiously typing away.
Oh, Dave, I've written stuff down here. I've put she's a see you next Tuesday. Obviously not with the extended version. I put her face, she's a high school bully. It's gutless behaviour. It really is gutless behaviour. I've put, she's got fucking horrible resting bitch face. And what annoys me is the way she creates it all, goes around the room, getting all the girls involved, tell them, have you seen the picture? That knobhead Cody as well, he's a prick. And then she's going, there's no malice in it. It was just 2 of my friends. Fuck off.
Absolutely. Didn't think it was a big deal. I mean, I just said burn her at the stake. What's your problem?
Yeah, what's your problem? It's so fucking necky of her. And honestly, I thought John was good, but I do think the one who really put her to task, but in a kill them with kindness way, was Alessandra, because Olivia has only ever grown up with people resisting her horrible, disgusting behavior with people. She's a spoilt little fucking brat who has obviously never had a role model who's told her no. And she just thinks that being jealous, horrible, conniving, she's just a disgusting, absolutely. She's basically the in-person version of a Twitter troll, Dave. She is the Twitter troll, but in person. She's that person behind a keyboard who's calling everyone and see you next Tuesday, fat, thin, your eating disorder, you fucking scum, you whatever you are, all these horrible things people get you the way you look. She is that person, but she actually does it to your face. It is unbelievable. It's fucking ridiculous. And what I liked about Alessandra was she was dead calm, dead measured the way she said it. And what he made Olivia do was he made Olivia go nowhere. She couldn't, like with John, you could see she was twitching a bit. And I thought, oh, she's going to go here. She didn't, but you could see she was like, she wants to go at him. She didn't agree with it. Well, Alessandra did it. That's when we got that. I'm in a bad mood now. And I'm like, no tears whatsoever. I'm like, how old are you? Bad mood now. Exactly. Fuck off. And how old are you? 3. And then that fucking absolute shithouse wet lettuce Jackson went, would you like a tissue? I'm like, shut the fuck up. Whatever she does to you at this point, Jackson, now is your fault. You're a fucking dickhead, an absolute dickhead. And she's like, I've never been in love before. And I thought, no. And then Jackson's going, I've never been in love before either. I'm like, no, but you've picked someone who's a fucking psychopath and he's probably going to rip your dick off when you're fucking asleep because you might realize you've talked to someone. What a horrible, horrible girl.
That is what he's not getting, though, is it? He's not getting the fact that at some point, she's going to be pissed off with you.
Oh, yes.
That's when the game changes. So it's all well and good. I mean, he's fucking Bertie Big Bollocks in front of the camera, isn't he?
Yeah.
When he's just talking to the camera and he's saying, oh, yeah, it's not really on. I don't like the snipey comments and whatever. But when she's getting a bit of a roasting from the experts, old Olivia there, he's got his arm around her. He's sort of like consoling her and stuff. You okay? So it's harsh criticism, that, isn't it? Fuck off. That's not what you were saying to the camera. And so he is just absolutely enabling her. And like I say, I don't know if he said anything, whether she would even react in the right way. But the thing is, Chris, I mean, if we stick on that couple, I was having a bit of a wobble this week because we started off in exactly the same place. You know, she is absolutely horrid. And I was left a bit unsatisfied. I thought she could have got more of a roasting than she did. But you're right. I mean, Alessandra, brilliant the way she handled it in a very calm way. I actually think secretly Alessandra fucking hates Olivia because she was the one who called her out last week when Jackson's like, oh, I've never seen this behavior. Alessandra's like, well, we have. So I was thinking in the later episodes when they get to the couples challenge. So after, the day after the commitment ceremony, you get to write the letters and stuff. And I was thinking, okay, is she this horrible person? I mean, she's been on like radio and stuff, and she's saying, "Oh yeah, it's a bad edit." What? That you said shit, and they've shown it. So don't fucking give me the bad edit crap. I mean, it's not just like one offhand comment, is it? This is repeated behavior. But when it got into the next day, and they get the letter. Fucking Tom and Jack.
Brilliant.
And she starts laughing maniacally, like she's the Joker, like she's just come up with the best fucking plan that is going to put Batman in his place once and for all. I'm like, actually, is it that she's this horrible person, or does she actually have some kind of mental illness there? Because that was not normal. And what happened after that?
Oh, it's amazing.
Solidified that. I mean, what happened after that, Chris?
Well, just before that, she went, I know how the judges, and she sat there, and Jackson's there with his arm round her, being the fucking absolute dick that he is. And she's going,
yeah.
If someone says to you, they love the fact that they like to hold a grudge, they have some serious issues going on. Things are eating up inside of them that we will never know, Dave. And for her personally, I think she needs to, all joking aside and everything, she needs professional help. There is something gone on there in her life that has made her that way. She is absolutely in need to speak to someone, because that is not a normal fucking thing. And she went, and I'm proud of it. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
I'm proud of holding a grudge.
What? Yeah, exactly. It's like, what? And you're right, that laugh. And then it pans to a few of the others. It goes back to an issue. And they're saying that we need to have a night away because they're saying that it's codependency and I codepend on you. And he's went on for ages. And I'm like, oh my God. And Sam went, holy shit, she is fucking tapped. I'm like, and what was even better, and I've got to give them credit, the producers were amazing, was when Jackson's there going, yeah, I've got a fucking gym, you know. It's a Cockney now, Dave. I've got a gym, yeah. And he's in the gym. He's living.
Just off down to the gym, Mary Poppins. See you, me old chum.
Jiminy. But she's there. He's in the gym. He's fucking flexing. You know, he's in good shape. He's there. It. He's loving life. He's like
loving it.
He's talking about, oh, it's great. You know, I really love her and blah, blah, blah. And then he pans to her. And all you needed was that sad music. And she sat there with her face like a pan of piss. And then she's like, she basically, in that one, the way they flick back to her, he's sort of like, oh, it's great. Oh, I'm sure she's having a great time. And she sat there so fucking angry. And I'm like, so the codependency thing and that maniacal psychopathic laugh, you've just answered your own question. It was brilliant editing, Dave. I was fucking crying. I was like, oh, that was one of the best things I've seen this series, because there's just something off with it, Dave. And honestly, I would be scared if I was Jackson in that situation, because it carried on when she was talking about his friends and that. And he went, well, what would you do if you fell out with my friends? Well, I fell out with plenty of boyfriends' friends in the past. And I thought, I fucking bet you do. Yeah.
But that was her on her best behavior. That was her best interview answer. But I tell you what, when, like you say, it was brilliant, that moment when it cut back to her. I mean, she wouldn't have looked out of place on Train Spotted, would she? Coming off heroin. It was like, it was so bad. And it was like, you know what, Dom and Jack, you have fucking nailed this one. You have absolutely fucking nailed it with a very subtle, I mean, come on, Chris, fucking 24 hours. And then she's like, they took Jackson away from me.
Exactly.
Like, fucking hell, I would lock your doors.
I kept thinking of fucking James Caan in Misery, you know, with Kathy Bates. I kept thinking he's going to wake up with a fucking baseball bat across his kneecaps or something. You're not going to the fucking gym. Whack, you know, because it's just bizarre. And I think you're right. We're talking about like the holding to task. The judges, like I say, they don't see any of this, and it's like, they should be pulling her up, just pulling her to one side. There should be some proper psychological help for her and say, this is, we're even pulling her out of the experiment. It's great TV, but there's just something wrong with her, Dave. And it got to the point where, for me, as it carried on, I was laughing because of what she's done to Dom, and she won't let it go with Dom. But people like that, and I've got someone in my family like that, and they just will not let a fucking grudge go, Dave. No matter what, they will not let a grudge go, and it literally consumes them. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. And honestly, luckily, this person in my family doesn't listen to this podcast, but I've got consumed with stuff like that. You know, like not a hate campaign with nastiness, but you know, when it's just like, this person's done this, so you take like that person's a view as the truth, and usually somewhere in the middle is the truth, isn't it? Everyone's got an opinion, but the truth's usually in the middle. And I'd be there like going, well, I don't like this person either. What a wanker. Oh, that's terrible. And then when you sort of speak to them, when you find out, you go, well, that's not actually what happened. This is just you because you didn't get your own way. And that's what it is with her. She's got some issues, but fuck me, TV gold. She's got to be the best baddie on a fucking reality show I've seen for a long time.
Yeah, but like I say, I'd wobble because I thought, okay, it's not as funny, and I should probably, when we come to record, I'm gonna, tone it down a bit, because she's genuinely ill, and this is just a point in time. Well, maybe I should cut her some slack. But the thing is, Chris, she's already told us this is consistent behavior throughout her life.
Yeah.
When she still holds grudges from when she was 5. She likes the fact that she holds grudges. So she's got no fucking motivation to change at all. She fucking loves it. So, the whole thing with the bridesmaid's dress, which she was reveling in telling Jackson's friends about. It's like, well, actually, no, you are just a see you next Tuesday. That's it. That's the start, middle, and end of it. And the fact that she's denying it and she's saying, oh, it's a bad edit and whatever. Well, that's consistent with what we've seen. We've seen events happen in front of our eyes, and then we've seen a version of the truth which is so distorted that she relays onto other people. The whole thing about Dom, she was screaming at my door. And it was like, really? It didn't look that way to us. She smashed a glass and was waving it around in front of my face. She was stood over me. It sounds so dramatic. She's got this whole fucking spin. She's such a storyteller, and to villainize Dom and everything. So yeah, I think she's just a terrible person, and I'm with you. Wet lettuce is exactly the phrase that comes to my mind with Jackson. At some point I was having a little bit of empathy for him, but no, it's like if you can't fucking wake up to that. But where this is going to end up. I think that there's enough of the wet lettuce streak that runs through him that says to me, he could actually end up sticking around with her for a bit, but where it's going to end. He's even said, he's broken up with girls, in the past because they haven't got on with his mates. Well, it's just a fucking ticking time bomb here, isn't it? Before someone does something that, winds her up. And like I say, on her best behavior, she's like, yeah, I have had problems with my boyfriend's friends in the past. It's like, well, there's a fucking surprise.
Shock of the season. But just moving on from her slightly, Dave, because I know we could literally do a full podcast on this girl. It's unbelievable. One of the characters that's constantly pissing me off now, and there was 2 in this run of episodes more than anything, Cody. I fucking can't stand him. He does that stupid fake fucking grin when he's been an absolute twat to Selena. She wants proper answers, and he's there like, oh yeah, well, yeah. And she's like, and he's so horrible to her, but does it with a smile on his face. And then when she and she's right, she said to him, you fucking gaslighting me. And he's like, I am not. I'm not. And it's like, you are, because she just wants to be loved. She likes him. She told him again, I really, really like you. I really invested in you. I really want to be with you. And I'm not getting it back. And she's right. I mean, he sort of smoothed it over, but I don't like him. What he did with Dom was wrong. And I think the way this has gone on, he's very immature. And I know that's fucking rich coming from me because I'm the big 43-year-old immature child at times. But he just is immature. And he's so wrong the way he reads the room. He just doesn't treat with any respect. I just think she's better off without him, Dave. I do not like him at all.
Yeah. I mean, the fucking candy floss ginger hairstyle he's got, fucking hell, what's that all about? I mean, well, that's the least of his problems. I think this guy thinks that he's like some mid-20s surf dude or something like that. I just... Selena is so much better than what she's getting back. What was the whole thing she was asking about? It was after the commitment ceremony, wasn't it? And it's like, what do you think it'll be like on the outside and yada, yada. And he's like, I need a coffee.
Yeah.
It's like, is that real? Are you just really going to not respond to that at all? He's given her absolutely nothing. And I'm not surprised she blew up. I mean, she's just she is that ball of energy. And he's just like, yeah, he's all this wishy-washy. He's like, yeah, I'll just see this time out on Married at First Sight, and then my DMs are going to be fucking rammed, and I am going to fill my boots. That is the vibe that he gives off. And I just think, him turning around to her and saying, well, I don't know where you are. Really? Because we can all see it. Again, it's not how they've edited it. She's saying it, and we're seeing it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, fucking giving nothing back, and it's I don't know what she sees in him, to be honest.
No,
I mean,
no.
Yeah, I'm with you though. I'm fucking done with Cody. I think he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's an absolute idiot. But I'll tell you what, Dave. Now I'm going to make a confession here. Me and you know, we have WhatsApp, Dave, don't we? And you know, if there's a scandal in the world, no matter where it is, at some point it turns up on WhatsApp. I know in America they don't use WhatsApp like we do in the UK, but WhatsApp is the absolute preferred messenger service for everything, Dave, isn't it? Video calls, voice calls as well. You know, we've got FaceTime, but WhatsApp is massive in the UK, and it's massive for any bit of scandal. It's going to turn up on WhatsApp. I'll tell you one thing I haven't got on my WhatsApp, Dave, or on my phone, is a fucking vault. But Mitch has, and that was, I was thinking, what the fuck have you got in that vault? You know what I mean? Like, I remember being at my mates, and we're actually seeing them tomorrow, me and Sam. I remember him saying, like, in front of Sam and that, going, oh, what's WhatsApp like, Chris? He's terrible, isn't he? Oh, you get all sorts of stuff, don't you? Filth and everything. I'm going, no, how dare you? You know,
really?
That's
I had no idea.
How dare you? But any scandal, you'll find it. Someone will have a passage of writing or whatever, and I'm being very liberal with that, Dave. But Mitch's vault, I was like, getting his fucking phone out. Yeah. What the fuck has he got in that vault? That is weird, Dave. I'm sorry. That is fucking unusual for me. I at that point, I was like, that is not fucking normal. I'm sorry.
No. I mean, you've got to think they're like sexy videos, aren't they, of his exes? Because I think she straight up asked him, you know, these your ex-girlfriends, and the colour just drains out of his fucking bros face. So that was weird. And again, I don't think Mitch is a bit lumpy, you know, in how I kind of how he came across, I feel, this week. But I think with Ella, again, to a lesser extent than Selena and Cody, Mitch is just so non-committal. It's really frustrating. And she is shrinking a little bit in his shadow, I think. He's just saying, yeah, I'm not moving to Melbourne. That's the way it is. And she's like, what is this fucking bolt here? And it's like, yeah, there's no way you're going to see in that. It's like, but what have you got in there? And he's just being so quiet. I can only think it's like ex-girlfriends or something. Yeah, it's like sex tape sort of stuff.
I don't fucking know. I mean, I've never noticed whether he's got one arm bigger than the other, Dave, but we'll fucking have a proper look next time I see him. But anyway.
Oh, dear me. It was so weird and uncomfortable, wasn't it? I mean,
I don't get that.
I don't feel like they've got much of a chance. I just think he's just so... non-committal about it. I just don't, unfortunately, see a future, which is a shame because I think they've got good foundations there. But I don't see much for them.
No, I don't. Now, Dave, one of the other contestants, and we'll play into sort of like the last episode when they all get together and we get the boys and girls and we get all the returning cast members, is fucking Tamara, Dave. All week, she's been digging at Brent. He's just a waiter. They go to his bar, don't they, on the girls' day? And she's like, I think he's just serves tables. So disrespectful. Then when they had that argument together on the boat, and she's like, he's giving me the shits and blah. I've got a house and I've got this and I've got that. And this was the Tamara we saw in the first two episodes. He was really obnoxious, really horrible, but she seemed to just change completely, didn't she? And he was dead mellow. I do think that Brent is a firecracker. I'm not completely laying it all at Tamara's door, but Tamara, these last few episodes has been horrid, Dave. Like, there's nothing in the relationship. She is just treating him like shit. And the way she's looking down on him was downright disrespectful. Yeah. And then the shouting at the table. But I will say, Dave, Selling comes in, 100 million% the producers have given her a nudge and said, just go in there and ask this question, but don't let it lie, because that was so out of character and it just fucking went. But I don't like Tamara and Samantha together. They're a pair of like mean girls. I don't like that at all.
No. I mean, Christ, Chris, I'm kind of out of bullets here.
Sorry.
Is there anyone that we liked in this week's batch of episodes? Tamara, right? I've told you before, I fucking hate it when someone looks down their nose at other people. And that is a long look, right? So the way she's going on, the way that she's going on about, he just fucking waits tables, own it and shit. When they get to the restaurant / bar there, and it turns out that he co-manages it, I'm thinking, what? Co-manages it? Do they have much of that? You know, surely you're the manager. Or like you might co-own somewhere. And he's sold it. Well, he says he lost his business in Dubai. I'm sort of thinking to myself, does he actually own it? Is it going to be one of these things in the reunion where it's like, oh, by the way, I actually own this, and your shitty little fucking career that you're talking about, actually, you know, I'll make that in takings in a week. It was just weird, and they really. You know, she was disrespectful in the first place, but they seem to keep showing it, you know, how she's putting him down, putting this career down. It's like, I've got a career. I've given up so much. What's Brent given up? He's given up nothing. You know, I don't think that's over. I think there's going to be some comeuppance there. But, I mean, she just continued to be horrible. I don't know if Selin had been, you know, prompted by the producers, but, you know, I didn't particularly like her when she was on the show.
I didn't.
I don't think you need much prodding, to be honest. To basically say, ask about the retreat. That's probably all he had to say. Or something like, ask about the retreat, and, you know, you get a bit of camera time. Oh, right, happy days then. Hello. Someone talk to me. It's just, oh, fuck off. I couldn't decide who I fucking disliked more in this, Chris. I mean, Selin was being annoying for the start. Tamara was screaming her fucking lungs out. Actually, the best behaved were probably Olivia and Dom, because they're just like, look, I just don't want to fucking engage or speak about this. But then when Sam went across, and she's like, oh, is she being like, you know, in The Little Mermaid, has she got, I can't remember beardy bloke's name, was it Andrew? Or... Anthony.
Yeah.
She got Andrew's voice in there, you know. It's just like, she's fucking sat right there. Like, why are you being such a dick? But also, Chris, what I was thinking was, you know, I talk about looking down your nose at people.
Yeah.
You know, I think it was funny, and maybe this could be because she was being on her best behavior, but surely Tamara, the way she goes after Carolina later, well, Selin first, and then Carolina, and shouting. Do you not think that's worse than anything Dom did in the commitment ceremonies?
Oh, yeah. So I made some notes on Tamara, Dave. I thought that she was horrible when she was having to go at Selin. I'm with you. I didn't think I'd sort of be back in Selin, but Selin had gone in there to shit stir it. I don't like her particularly, but Tamara was just being horrible. Like you say, Selin was like, McFly, hello, you know, like, hello, I'm over here. You know, they kept ignoring her. But when Tamara went at Carolina, what I found really bizarre is she went, I really like Dion. But I'm thinking, so I've got a different perspective on this. I'll talk about Daniel in a minute. The situation with Daniel and the boys is that they're right to call him out, right? So, and I'll get to that in a minute. But with Tamara having a go at Carolina, Tamara's treating Brent like shit. Or in the edit she is. We don't know whether he's the same, because like I say, he's a firecracker, but they made Brent out to be a good guy. So he could be 50-50, and it's a very volatile relationship. That's what Tamara keeps saying. For the purpose of the show and what we've been shown, Tamara, for me, is the bad guy or the bad lady. She's having a go at Carolina for the way she treated Dion. Obviously, it's the cheating side of it and stuff that they're getting at. I get that.
Yeah.
But it just seemed hypocritical to me. I was like, Tamara, you've been calling your fucking so-called husband, you know, in air quotes, or the one you're supposed to be getting married to, a waiter. He serves tables, don't know what he does. You know, like you said, own it. Really playing down to him, slagging him off, and thought it was hilarious that she was having a drink in his restaurant. How can you be the one to then have a go at Carolina, who coincidentally is with Daniel in a full-time relationship and are actually living together? They're more of a, and she even said it, Tamara, actually, they're more of a couple than any of us. like joking, but there's actually truth in that. Whatever we think of Daniel and Carolina, to get to that point where they are, at the moment, they're still a couple. And it's sort of proofs in the pudding. And I just think she was just being a massive hypocrite.
Yeah, I am. But I think there's multiple things going on here. Fucking love this show, Chris. But what I was actually getting at was old Olivia there in a shitty coloured shit dress. right? A fucking brown dress there. Wasn't that why she sent back a fucking bridesmaid's outfit in pieces? Because it was brown? It's like, well, that's sort of shit-coloured brown. Because she doesn't... What's the term? It's bogan, isn't it? Because she thinks Dom is a bit of a bogan and beneath her, that's why she's having a go at her. But Tamara, I think she looks at as an equal. So the fact that Tamara is screaming her fucking lungs out, she's not offended by that because Tamara's on her level. That's how I'm reading it. Also, why is Tamara going after fucking Carolina for treating Dion badly? Fucking good lad Dion. Everyone loves a bit of Dion. Well, we've seen how fucking shallow and, material focused Tamara is. Maybe fucking Tamara wants a bit of Dion. Maybe that's what's going on there.
Oh, that could be true, that. And you know what, Dave? What made me laugh, right? So I'm going to be controversial here. So on the guys thing, and I think you could be onto some of that. The guys get together and they're all chatting about Daniel saying he's not going to turn up, is he? And they're like, no. Well, Dion comes in, fucking Al comes in. We didn't talk about Al. Al and Sam went, didn't it, at the start of this week as well? They finally decided to leave. So Al comes in doing the fucking worm. Then that thing he did when he had Dion's tracksuit on. He's just
but he had a white t-shirt on. I was thinking,
brown, beige pants. Me and Sam were like, well, he's fucked his fucking clothes up. He's there doing that fucking worm thing on the floor. Yeah. And he's just there for the crack with the guys. But when Dion turns up, I've got to say, I don't like Daniel at all. I think he's a snaky, sly fucker. And when they actually sat down and Matt and that was sort of saying, right, let's hear your side of the story. And Dion sat across the table. I must admit, Dave, when Daniel said, it's not an award ceremony, mate. You know what I mean? It was because it was Dion that had his fucking 2 minutes of fame. And he had no chance with Carolina. And the one thing I'd say, he was right to say about Daniel saying, you shit house, you've gone behind me back. For the purpose of the show, she was my wife. But I know you're with her, but he was wrong. When did you speak to her? Would you do it again? And everything Daniel said was fucking wrong. What I did. Yeah, I'd do it again. Don't really care. All I said, but when he said it's not an award ceremony, I was fucking chuckling going, because it didn't seem genuine with Dion. But then Daniel's line was that, and then it went to shit for him because he absolutely threw himself under the bus by acting like a complete cock. But I don't know. The guys were all taking offense at Daniel, and it's right. But Dion, there was nothing there, and he was sort of saying to Daniel, we had a chance. You didn't have a fucking chance. Carolina's horrible. Daniel's a snake. They suit each other. Dion, get over it, mate. We know this is all for the TV show, and it's just basically to elevate your levels. Because I'm sure Dion did the TV interview rounds, Dave, when this happened.
Yeah.
He'd been the fucking darling of Australia. So whether you agree with that or not, absolute setup. Daniel's a cock completely. And I did love at the end when he was like, when him and Mitch went, and he's like, Mitch is giving him shit and he's giving it him back. And he's like, yeah, piss off, mate. And then you could see Daniel wanted to go back and just fucking have a fight with him. Yeah, and then outside he went, losers. You know, it's just like...
It was glorious though, wasn't it?
It was amazing.
I tell you where Dion lost me completely. And it was a great line from Daniel. Utter shithouse, but great line because it was like a fucking dry monologue, wasn't it? A supervillain monologue. But when he's like, Carolina put down a diamond and picked up a rock. And it's like, really? Are you fucking Joe Pesci there? Is he likening himself to a diamond? And fucking Daniel chiseled out of granite there. Rock? I don't know. It was just like, come on, mate. Just fucking drop it, will you? But it was good. And I must admit, I mean, you know what I love about this show, Chris? Whereas Love Island are quite frugal. They don't let the contestants drink much. They don't seem to give a fuck on Married at First Sight. And so you could see that they were all getting more and more pissed. And I do genuinely think Mitch was wound up. I think he does have a bit of a connection with Dion there. So he's wound up anyway, but then he's getting more drunk and then he just fucking loses it, doesn't he? And honestly, Chris, there must have been loads of Australian slang, and maybe some of our listeners can help us out, but I didn't understand what the fuck he was on about for a while. He was going on about, are you wiggle, a wiggy or something?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, come on, bruh. And he's like, do you like the pussy? Is he in it for the pussy sort of thing? So fucking in between us, isn't he? But he'd fucking lost the plot, really, hadn't he? But he was just like, fuck off. He was having none of it. And, you could see Daniel getting redder and redder. He is ready to go, but he knows he can't. Chris, it was great.
It was glorious. It was glorious. And like I said about Tamara, the Daniel and Carolina are actually together. Do you know what I mean? Someone said to him, which was so inappropriate for Dion, if they wanted Dion to run across the table and jump on Daniel, someone went, so if you had sex with her, and he went, we've been living together for fucking how long? You know what I mean? Yeah. He didn't say it in that way, but it was sort of like, yeah, we have. It was like, what?
No, I thought he was more like, yeah, tap that. He was more like fucking rubbing it in your face. Like,
more than you did, Dion. But yeah,
you didn't get within a fucking country mile, sunshine. So
exactly.
I think it was the whole, I do the same thing 100 times again that really wound up everyone else.
Yeah, because me and Sam were talking, and Sam had said, the girl Daniel got with initially, and when we were laughing the day after the wedding, when Sam went, who the hell's that girl with Daniel? And I was like, that's his. And she took her hair extensions out. She looked completely different without makeup on. She was saying like, well, if they're not together, I've got no beef, because if it's nothing to do with me, it was after I didn't want him. So it's nothing to do with me. And she was right. The girls were sort of trying to stoke the flame. I'm not thinking, but I tell you what, Dave, something I found out as well. Olivia is being investigated by the police now about that picture distribution. They've actually took up the case.
Oh yeah,
they're looking into Dom smashing the glass. So they're going to, but they said they've looked into that. Sorry, spoke to the producers and the cast, and there's no further action. Which says it all, really, how serious that was, because it wasn't right that she smashed the glass. So I do think that was a bit of a setup as well. But with Olivia, they are. I mean, there is that survey thing, the petition, which was had over 100,000 signatures, but they are actually looking into that about the distribution of material against someone's will, sort of thing, because it is a criminal offence in Australia, which I think it is anywhere, and it should be. So that's interesting. Whether that'll come of anything, I don't know, but it is something they're looking into. But Selin and Anthony, I found this out. I don't know if you found this out. They were contestants previously, not together, but they were the contestants you don't see on the TV show. So obviously, Daniel was with someone else before, and then they ended up with that girl he got with. That girl who Daniel got with, Jessica. She was married to somebody. They filmed all the VT stuff, and then something come out about the guy she was with were really bad.
I did hear that one. Yeah.
So, sorry.
So don't know if it's a bit of a fucking Jimmy Savile situation or something.
Yeah, there was something bad about him.
Yeah, they basically erased him completely.
Yes.
And the best they could muster up was Daniel.
And that's why she hated him, I think, because she'd had a bond with this other guy and they had to get rid of him from the show. Which sort of plays into it's all like a big act sort of thing. But then Selin and Anthony were actually paired with other people in previous seasons, and they just didn't make it to the TV. So that's why they put them together. So that's, again,
right.
Sort of Bachelor style, in the background, you're part of that community. They obviously trialed a few times and didn't hit it off. And then this time they were good enough for the screen and then came in, sort of thing. So just little tidbits I've picked up over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, no, it's very good. I who knows? Like I say, no one is calling out the fact that Olivia must have subscribed to OnlyFans, downloaded the picture, and then she was saying initially when she was quizzed about it at the first dinner party, she was like, a friend sent it through, and then she just like showed it to Selena. She was just like, oh, look at that. But then it's turned into, oh no, she sent it to Selena. So again, it's just, she's never consistent with what she actually says, Olivia. There's all these little lies in and around something that was vaguely like something she was describing. So, no, they fucking take it to task, to be honest. I did see, there was those whole fucking saucy pictures of Olivia, wasn't there? Because I saw it was in the papers and that she'd had these various pictures. And also, wasn't it a Facebook page or something like that? Had loads of offensive shit from when she was 15, and
yes,
it's like it's consistent behavior. It's not just that she's, you could make a case and say, oh, well, she lost her dad recently, and maybe she's just in a really bad place, having some mental health issues. No, it just seems like consistent throughout her life.
Yeah, which is sad. Like I say, I do think she needs some sort of help. But anyway, Dave, we are going into the final. It's going to be the final week, because I thought this was the final week, but we're going to get the final ceremony, and then we're going to get the reunion. The reunion is going to be glorious. I don't know anything about it, but it's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there were 34 episodes last year. So it should all wrap up next week. I can't wait.
Oh, mate, I can love this show. It's so good, so good. But honestly, guys, thank you for tuning in. Get over to Facebook, Chris and Dave's Reality TV Cast. There's some great comments. I saw our great friend Hennessy say the reality radars are broke, Dave. I need to ask him what he
would love his phone.
I think he might be right. But anyway, but brilliant comments, guys. If you do want to support us, get over to Patreon, patreon.com/CD Reality Cast. If you want to email us, it's not Chris and Dave, it's cdrealitycast@gmail.com. And if you want to follow us on social media @CD Realitycast. So today's roll call of honor is Michelle, Keith, Helen, Brianna, Noreen, Zoe, Joanna, Helen, Katie, Dee, Priscilla, Susan, Hennessy, Lauren, Lucky Luna Green, and Kent Gustafson. So thank you guys, as always. Great stuff. And Dave, this show is just fucking amazing. I saw the comments on Facebook. We've got to get on Temptation Island. There's been a few episodes, but I was sort of thinking, no, we're at the end of this. We can just do one a week. So I love Temptation Island as well, Dave. So anyway, Dave,
we need to get to one series a week again.
A week, yeah, we do.
But no, it is brilliant. And like I say, I'm just gutted now. I've got to wait till bloody Sunday to get the next episode. So that's they don't call it a commitment ceremony, do they? Final vows, I guess.
Yes.
And that was, I mean, last season that was quite tasty, wasn't it? You had some blow ups there, and so can't wait, Chris. But anyway, for tonight, let's wrap it up there. So thanks very much, sir. And thanks to everyone out there for listening, and we'll speak to you next time.
Bye.